Hey there, welcome to Rev'n News. My name is Clarence Barnes.
And I'm Mike Robledo. And at Rev'n News, we cover anything that revs.
And today is no exception. A great show ahead. The action in the performance aftermarket, unmatched today.
It's going to be a long show with a lot of updates and a lot of people to meet. Let's get it started. One of the coolest things about the SEMA show is the variety in the manufacturers. And one of the coolest and most unique products is Bedwood. Clarence had a chance to catch up with Jeff at Bedwood. Let's see what he had.
In 2006, I was working on a 57 Chevrolet pickup for myself. I did not want oak. Called all around and everybody said, well, you need oak, or this is all there is. And one person said, well, you have to buy this, speaking of their product. And I thought, you know, I don't have to buy anything. And I said, I'm sure there's other people in the country that don't like being forced almost to settle on a specific wood. And that's when Bedwood and Parts was, the company was born that night. The Bedwood brand is the brand of wood products and associated accessories, the bed strips, etc., for classic trucks that had a factory wood floor. So these would go back from around 1915 on up. So any of those trucks with a factory wood floor, Bedwood has a product for that truck. So many guys change these cool old trucks. They may, put a new chassis under it or have a different suspension under it, want to run some wide tires. So a lot of the trucks will have tubs or mini tubs that they didn't have like that from the factory. Since we do mill the wood to order for that specific truck, the wood doesn't care how it's cut. So we take any changes that customer's made, whether it be tubs, whether they put the fuel tank behind the rear end, we take all of that into account. We design it on the CAD system. When the customer's pleased with that layout, then we mill it, taking all of their modifications into account, so it'll just fit like a glove when they get it. Right now, our turnaround times, we're running about 3 weeks out from when an order's placed. It gets in a production queue. And that gives the customer time to have things ready so when the wood comes in, they can test fit it, seal it, finish it, and have it ready to install. When I started this, we first started to give people a choice of woods. Well, we began looking at it further and further. There were only a couple of bed strip profiles on the market. I thought, well, time for that to change. And I thought, let's do some really neat designs and just mix it up a little bit. So we came up with 3 different styles, all with hidden fasteners. One called the speed bump, one called the flat top, and one called the double hump. But what they do is they completely change the attitude of the bed. They're 100% American made with extruded aluminum. It's polished, it's got a bright dip anodizing, so it's no more out there polishing all the time. You just wipe the dust off with a quick detailer and you're ready to go. And then this year we developed a product jointly with Max Tie Downs where we married our speed bump bed strip with a hidden fastener to their VersaTrack system. So now we have a product called the Classic Track, where you can replace the outer 2 bed strips in your truck and you can use their VersaTrack ties to secure a load. Now you can haul your Harley in the back of your truck and not worry about how you're going to hold it in.
How many times have you gone out to the garage, you want to fire up the car, you haven't driven it in a while, and it's dead? Well, you need a battery maintainer. And CTEC has not only developed one, but they have one that ties into your smartphone. Let's learn a little bit more.
CTEC is a leader and an innovator in battery management. The company was founded when we invented the first smart charger for consumer use about 20 years ago. Well, quite early in our history, we were noticed by the big OEs in Europe because our chargers were different than all the other chargers on the market. And that's how our relationship with Porsche started. They came to us and asked us to develop a battery charger for them, and that was the beginning of a long and very good relationship. And now we make the battery chargers for all the premium OE manufacturers virtually. It's in CTEC's DNA to keep innovating the battery management technologies. And the new product this year is something we call Battery Sense. Battery Sense is a device that will remind you before you have a battery problem, remind you to plug in your charger, and it does that through your smartphone. It sends a push notice about a week before you're actually going to have a starting problem. And we think this is going to be a very useful device for our customers. So with Battery Sense, you can mount one on all your vehicles, on your lawnmower tractor, on your motorcycle, one on every car, and they will come up as a list on your cell phone. Now, when you want to look at more details for a particular vehicle, you click here, and you're going to have the charging, the state of charge history of that particular battery, if you would like to troubleshoot a problem, for example. But I think the most important feature of Battery Sense is that it will send you a push notice before you have a battery problem, before the car won't start. So it'll remind you to charge your battery. Battery chargers virtually all look the same, more or less. It's a box, it's wires coming in and out, but CTEK chargers are different. And that's why the premium OEs, but also the premium custom builders come to CTEK, because when you care about technical performance, we're number one.
Go to any car show today and you're going to see a myriad of amazing paint jobs. How's that happening? Well, it's the equipment behind those paint jobs, along with some very talented painters. And one of the leaders in that technology for equipment is SATA. They have a new gun out that's been a record-setting gun for them. Let's figure out what's going on. Sherilyn, take it away.
Hey guys, I'm here with Brad from A Mare. Now, I'm familiar with SATA. Tell us a little bit about Dan-Am and that connection.
Okay, Dan-Am company, we import SATA, spray equipment and filtration and guns. And Dan-Am Air is a product that we've taken on to complement our filters and spray gun by getting good, clean quality air from the compressor to the filter, keeping it clean all the way to the spray equipment with the correct flow and pressure and so on. It complements the product very well.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about the product and the ease of installation.
The ease of installation is key. The product we can normally put up in 2/3 less time than your conventional black pipe or copper product. It's an extruded aluminum that's powder coated. It's an extremely smooth finish on the inside that flows air great. We don't get any restriction through any of the fittings. Most of the technology comes in the fitting. There's 2 O-ring seals on the outside of the grip teeth that hold the pipe together. All the fittings come pre-torqued at the factory, so as long as the arrows are lined up, when you get it from us, that's ready to go. You have to do nothing to it.
Okay, this seems like it's just plug and play. Is that
exactly what it is?
Wow.
You literally press the pipe in till it bottoms out, make sure the arrows are lined up, should be that way, and literally just press it in and you're done.
Okay, so
no wrenches.
If you're going to install a system at your house, you can just buy this and put it up in a day?
Exactly, and mentioning that, we have actually came out this year with kits for home application, garages, man caves. Everybody's making their man caves all fancy.
Yeah.
This is a perfect way to start that. It comes in different dimensions, and it's a plug-and-play kit. You don't need any tools. It comes UPS to your door. The pieces are already cut, ready to go. You literally just plug it together, hang it up, and you can do it in an afternoon with your buddies.
This sounds like the simplest system ever. And you're mentioning man caves and homes, but I mean, this is for large shops, correct?
It's anywhere from a guy in his garage that wants one airdrop to a facility like this convention center that we need air for.
Nice, and it plugs right into the SATA filtration system, so...
Yep, we've designed some of our own recommendations, how we feel it works best with the filtration.
Well, it sounds amazing to me, and the fact that anybody can just install it in a day easily,
yeah, that's
super bonus.
The beauty of it is you don't have to have a pipe threader and introduce oil into your airline before you even get started. You don't have to have an open flame to put your copper together in your paint room where all your paint fumes are. You literally just push it together, cut it with a pipe cutter, deburr it, press it together, and move on. Another nice thing is it's so modular. Once you have, let's say you have a union here and you want to change and move it the direction, you can take this out, put a T in, and take off another direction. Now you've got air in another part of the shop that you never had. You can't do that with copper, black pipe. It's so much more labor intensive.
No, and the way people move things around in their shop, it's good. It's just flexible. You can move it around. Very versatile.
Expansion. People are all, you know what? Well, we need another booth. Okay. Well, now you take the 90 off and you put a Union on there, and you go over to the other booth.
It's like the old gerbil trails. You just keep expanding, right, and buying new and more, right?
There you go.
All right. Cool. Well, I'm glad you had time to talk to us. It was great meeting you and talking about Dan-Am.
Thank you very much.
Now, for decades, taking your car to the body shop was just an extreme hassle. Very expensive, replacing parts. What a nightmare. Luckily, there's a company out there called Eco Repair that's revolutionizing many aspects of the body shop business. Clarence caught up with the guys over at Eco Repair Systems. Let's see what they got.
You always hear about, easy dent removal and things like that, but does it really happen? Okay, so we're going to say this area right here looks relatively unabused at this point. Abused away, yeah. That's a nice dent there. That hurts, okay. Now, how do we get that out?
So the first thing you need to do is turn on the device here. There's a couple of different ways to set that. So we have first the 0.5 setting and the 1.0, and that's what we use for paintless dent reduction of dents like that. The dent traditionally for this type of tool, as a one and only tool you're going to use, would be for a soft dent, shallow dents. So if it happens to be a sharper dent, you can crank that all the way over to the 100%. Your finger's the one that'll control the timing in that sense. So the automatic timer at a half second or 1 second is the safest way for a paintless dent removal with this device. So Jan will go over with this tool.
There we go. Now, he's holding it over the dent, right around it. Now, oh wow, look at that. Cut it out. Cut it out. Paintless dent removal. That's part one. That is amazing. Can we see some other stuff?
Sure.
You have a huge bumper, and like, again, you're at a parking lot, you could be anywhere, and somebody backs into your car, whether it's a Prius or a Scion or anything. Pretty much so many cars have these one-piece wrap-around, real pretty bumpers, and the bumper could be okay, but all of a sudden it's hanging off because a little clip like that has been broken.
Yeah, or a car wash, which is another real famous one too. So typically what will happen is that a lot of times the shops in the past, they've had to replace the entire bumper. Right. So when you get to that situation, now you're painting the entire bumper and now you're blending 2 or 3 other panels on the car. So that's a pretty expensive repair process like you talked about before. So when you're just repairing the tabs on the backside, sometimes that doesn't even need paint. But let's say it's on the front side. Right. The idea is reducing the severity of the repair. That's kind of our core concept and mantra for the company. We take damage, repair it in the least invasive process, keep that contained, so that way it doesn't become this over excessive, consumption of time and dollars. Right. So this is one of those things. So we're able to recreate those clips, for example.
Now, I saw on the other side here, as we kind of look back, for tears or people who come right in and give it a big shot, right down here on this side, and this is a common thing you see from shopping malls. People give you a good punch in the bumper, and all of a sudden you got this big slice here.
Yeah, or a lot of times that can happen just with a parking block, so sometimes not even somebody else's fault. Right. So you'll get that snag and tear. We have a couple ways to repair this, but the first is to go through the backside. So we'll use one of those stainless steel staples, we call them tacks, and that way it'll reinforce this before you do any welding. The second stage is to go from the backside and basically weld your first bead, and that's your structural reinforcement. When you come back and do the front side of it now with that same process, that's your filler material. So then after that, they'll sand it, feather edge it, and it's ready for prime and paint. Right, and we have a proprietary skim coat for that as well.
You always see something that's, just truly amazing at SEMA, and this is certainly no exception. Thank you so much. Great to see you, Brian. Unbelievable. Once again, this is just really, really groundbreaking stuff.
So it's come the time. So you're stepping up to being a pro racer. You got a dedicated car. There's no way you can run a street clutch. You need something more complete. You need to be tunable, and it needs to be tunable in the field. The one solution? MagForce from McLeod. Clarence had a chance to get a full breakdown on this thing, and this thing is impressive.
Hey So here at SEMA, we get to talk to, so many different people, but it's kind of neat when you go right to the operations of any company. Fred Taylor's here. We're going to talk about the MagForce. The original MagForce has been in the game for a while, but, over the past few years, and especially this year, you've made some really cool improvements.
Yes, we have. Our customers have come to us and they've told us what they like and what they didn't like, and that's all you have to do is just let us know how to improve the product, and we always listen to our customers on what they want. So the changes that we made is we made a change to the cover so that it's more rigid, so there's less flex and better release. We also made the diaphragm cone replaceable in the field because we've gone with these bolts. So rather than riveting it in, you can actually unbolt it and replace the cone to a heavy cone or a light cone for whatever your application is. And you can do that right in the field.
Traditionally, this had a lot of rivets in it in the very beginning, right?
Yes, it did. I mean, the cone, it was riveted, and that's the way we've done it for the last 30 years. But the racers would like to be able to surface their product out in the field. When you're racing, everybody, and back in the past, let's say you just buy it, put it in and run it. Today, everybody wants to tune it, They want to change things around. In the past, if you want to change something, you got to send it back to me, and I'll drill the rivets out and I'll put a new one in. Now, they can just unbolt it right there in the field, take the pressure plate off, unbolt it, put what they want in, put it in there, and adjust it to whatever they want to do.
Now, you also have a shim solution in there too, right?
Yes, in the past, we've had a set stand, and we had shims. We called them wear shims. So we would pre-set it up, and then you would run it. And as the clutch would wear, the levers would come up. So to get the levers back down, you would remove the transmission, remove the bell housing, remove the cover, remove whatever shim you had to do, and then reverse that process and put everything back together and go racing. And that could take some cars half a day. But now, all you have to do is loosen the pressure plate up. You don't have to remove anything. If you can get in there and loosen these nuts, you can come in here and turn this adjustable stand to get your set dimensions that you want, the clearance, and we've got holes in this. We've got a series of holes. There's 6 holes in here. And you just stick a pick in there and rotate it, and each hole will be so many thousandths. So you'll just rotate it one way or another until you get it, bolt it back in. You've not removed anything, and you're ready to go racing. You can be done in 20 minutes. We've actually got some cars, or some customers, I should say, they're pretty wild, way out there. They want to put this on the street. I'm not going to tell them they can't do it. I'm not going to, because this thing revs really fast. But the problem is when you put that on there, it rattles. It sounds like you got rocks in your bell housing because the floater and the drive plate is rattling against the stands. And that's good for racing because it's nice and free. You don't want anything hanging up. But on the street, it's very embarrassing. So we've gone and strapped the drive plate and the floater so it cannot move side to side. It can only go up and down.
So it's gonna quiet the entire assembly down a little bit.
Absolutely quiet. You can't hear it.
What a big surprise when they see you on the track too. That is going to be a real thing to deal with. Street, strip, wherever you happen to bring it. I think
Absolutely.
Boy, I'll tell you, MagForce happening for 2016. You want more information on that? You can always find them direct to the people who produce it here in the United States. Just go to McLeodracing.com. Well, there you go. Another great show. Thank you so much for hanging out today. Rev'n News, we go deep, we go in depth of all the new stuff, and of course, that's what we do every week on Rev'n TV.
Sure. It's all about the performance aftermarket. There's a lot to cover, and there's new stuff all the time.
No, for sure. And if you want to see some of the replay, if you missed something, we always stream it live at RevNTV.com, or, of course, you can see us on Facebook, too.
Sure. Facebook, you can easily click like if you're so inclined.
We would like that.
Or there's a YouTube channel with a lot of Rev'n content, clips from the road, clips from last year. Some really cool stuff.
So thank you so much for spending the time and hanging out here with the crew at Rev'n News. For Michael Roboletto, my name is Clarence Barnes. We'll see you next time right here with Rev'n News.